I'm Austin Hill. Welcome to the Driving Circles broadcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Driving in Circles podcast, episode 22. We are back at it again, back to the usual uploads. Great to have everybody here. Well, mostly everybody, I should say. Cory is missing in action. He did go on a cruise. He decided to leave us. Didn't even tell us. I felt betrayed. James felt betrayed. But you know what? Well, we found a replacement, temporary replacement. Guys, hey, tell them what you're about. Tell them who you are and how you got here.
Hi, I'm Alejandro. I run the DRL Cup Series Instagram account and the DRL Motorsports YouTube channel. I've been a fan of NASCAR since I was a young kid. Just a passion of mine. I love talking about it, and it's an honor to be here.
That's glad to hear. What do you call it? It's really good that we finally have our first guest. We'd like to call it first guest. Hopefully, first of many. But you know, what do you call it? I met Alejandro. He hit us up and wanted to do a kind of a partnership where you know he sponsors us, and then you know we'll give him some access into our podcast. You know, like being on the podcast itself. So you know, if you're interested of being a guest, you know, just reach out to any of the three main guys, me, Cory, or James. And, you know, we could work something out. Alejandro was a very cool guy to work with, very flexible with his time, and we appreciate that. Anyway, James, you want to go into what was last weekend's races for me?
It was just New Hampshire and Toronto, a lot of up north, and a lot of mid in the NASCAR Cup Series. I'll tell you that.
I definitely agree with you on that one. Where should we start? I think we should start with New Hampshire Xfinity, right, James? Because that came first.
Yes.
All right, boys. So we are going to be talking about New Hampshire and Xfinity. I'm surprised that Christopher Bell wasn't entered in this race. God knows only why he wasn't. But you should have known that a JGR car was going to win this damn race. John Hunter Nemechek got another win, back-to-back wins for him. Boo. Yeah, so boring seeing John Hunter Nemechek win. What did you guys think?
It was an entertaining race for New Hampshire standards, but it was mostly helped by late race cautions. There was a big one on the last lap which I wasn't ready for, which gave us a whole bunch of, you know, people that shouldn't be in the top 10 at New Hampshire, like Mason Massey finishing 10th, Josh Williams in 8th, Jeb Burton in 7th. A lot of stuff where it shouldn't be because of the last lap incident between Sheldon Creed and Cole Custer. Your guy, Kyle, you know.
Hey, man, it's getting, James, if you know later when we talk about Toronto, it was not a good weekend for the Kyle Cadgigal train.
It's never a good weekend, Kyle.
It's never a good weekend. I can't even remember the last time I had a good weekend. You know, he just, I don't know what's going on with Cole Custer, but he seems to be just pulling the Ross Chastain and just finding trouble wherever he can. And it seems that every race he's got a different guy. And it's just part of it. He, you know, the desperation's starting to kick in to get a win, to perform, you know, and I think he's putting too much pressure on himself, and he's just pushing the car too hard, and he's just wrecking himself, wrecking other people, and it's just really hard to watch. Alejandro, what did you think about the Xfinity race as a whole?
So I actually watched the whole race through, and I actually thought it was a good race, but I feel like it's only was better than we expected because of how aggressive they were. I feel like people were pushing the limits, bumping into each other more often than we would expect for New Hampshire or how it's been. Well, that's what I've seen over the last 2 years there. as well as 22 as it was now in 23. But I would say with the more aggression, like super speed races, a lot of people, as James said, lucked into a top 10. And then we got Patrick Ermely in 14th as well. He got a good finish out of that race. But I would say John Hunter Nemechek had probably the fastest car, as well as Allgaier maybe until he got the damage. But I would say it was his race to lose.
Yeah, I'm
Good
looking at
point.
these.
Even with the damage, Allgaier was still running top 5 all day. Like his car looked like it should have been in the back, and he was still in 5th place. I gotta say that was pretty impressive.
Exactly, yeah. I would say if he probably didn't have that damage, he'd probably given a little more competition to Nemechek, but once again, it was JGR's race to lose.
Yeah, you probably know that 20 car has been sitting in the shop already prepared since last time Christopher Bell ran that car. And last year he won the race. The year before that he won the race. It's pretty much every year that 20 Xfinity JGR car has been perfect. So I'm guessing that they just took one of C Bell's old setups. They threw it on that 20 car and it was lightning fast. John Nemechek's a wheelman, but I just don't like seeing him win so much. It kind of sucks.
I'd say we want some parity out of these leagues.
Yeah, we definitely got parity. I'll tell you that with that bottom half
Not
of the top 10,
exactly.
like James was saying.
Exactly.
And if you look at this top 20, it's actually pretty interesting. Like you said, with Patrick Emmerling and then Alex LeBay in 12th, Jeremy Clemens in 15th, Austin Dillon, who does Austin Dillon things, 16th in a college car that has 4 race wins. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't understand what he's doing, but later on you'll see. Yeah, the New Hampshire seemed to work out for him, at least on the Cup side.
I was gonna say we can go over like how Parker Kligerman. I thought he would have a good day here, but unfortunately he was caught up in that stack up on the restart early in the race.
Yeah,
And
I didn't see that. What exactly happened? I don't understand what happened there.
I don't remember who the leader was, but the leader decided to wait a little longer than the restart line, and again, per NASCAR rules, it's the leader that controls the restarts, not the restart line, even though we go off that normally. So the leader went after the restart line, and then the back of the pack went at the restart line. It was just a checkup that took out a good 10,
I,
12 cars. I think that
it,
makes sense.
yeah, it was more of I believe John Hunter was the leader then. I feel like
Yeah,
because restarts were so weird the whole day because the top line would launch so much better than the bottom, so the
exactly. Yeah,
bottom would have to try and guess and launch to where they'd have to get it just about perfectly so they could stay side by side with the top to have a chance to take the lead in the turn one. It was a lot of guessing where to launch the car in the turn one or on the restart line, and it didn't work out for the back of the pack. It was it didn't it was a lot of guesstimating, and a lot of guys got it wrong, and that's how we got the big stack up.
Yeah, it's so funny seeing such a lot of damaged cars and wrecking at New Hampshire. A track that usually holds itself to being just usually clean racing, and everybody just singles out and nobody's really aggressive. But the Xfinity Series always finds a way to put on a show.
so the last
Oh,
2 years for this Xfinity series have been pretty aggressive.
I'll tell you
Ben,
what wasn't aggressive though. Fucking Romain Grosjean.
oh, are we going to IndyCar now, Kyle?
We're getting into IndyCar because I'll tell you what, I watched the race until the incident, and my God, Romain Grosjean had no aggression throughout the entire race. I'll tell you that. No aggression, was getting absolutely cheesed on. I can't believe it. While I was watching the race, James called me while I was watching and said, Kyle, your guy is getting cheesed on by Alex Palou. And then I look on TV and Palou passed him like 4 times in very hard to pass corners, and it just shows. And then not to mention the other pain and suffering that I felt on what was it, lap 40, 41, lap 41, of course. Of all things, it all came to a grinding halt on the final corner in the concrete barriers.
I'd say that it was a pretty aggressive. I wasn't able really to watch it because I don't have Peacock, but I'm looking at the leaderboard on IndyCar.com, and I would say there's a lot of cars that did not finish the race. I know there was a incident turn one, lap one, but
There was a
other
huge
than that,
stack up in turn one that took out 6 cars,
is this hurt?
including Tom Blomqvist, which we need to send our regards to Tom Blomqvist, who had
Yeah,
the shortest IndyCar debut, lasting
I
only
believe it was
900 feet. We,
somebody in their natter
you can't make it up.
didn't say it didn't get all the way through.
yeah.
It's a shame.
Let's give a moment of silence for Todd Bloomquist's IndyCar career because for now because Connor Daly's back in the 60. Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, so yeah, there was that huge crash Alejandro was talking about. Took out a lot of the back marker cars, which is kind of funny because they're already in the back and they still find a way to crash into each other. And
I would say, is this hurt? Go ahead, James.
what do you call it? Yeah, it was a very good race. I mean, from what I saw, it was a very good race. A lot of incidents, especially with the Andretti cars and stuff like that, and the storylines that they were following. Congratulations to Christian Lundgaard on getting his maiden IndyCar win. You know, especially with that Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan team.
Exactly.
Um,
Heard
it was
a
great.
podium. Is this
Herta
Herta's
with the
first
podium.
First race, first podium of the season, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
This far
that's
in, it's been a rough season for Herta.
that's very much a disappointment.
I know James has strong feelings about
I
Colton
have
Herta right now.
strong feelings about Colton Herta,
Currently ninth
and
place, 0 wins. Feel like
honestly,
a little underperforming.
very much underperforming. But the entire Andretti camp is underperforming, if we're being honest, for Andretti standards.
Lundgaard's ahead of
Because
him right now.
if you look,
Colton
ninth
is the
Colton
highest in the
Herta,
points.
11th Kyle Kirkwood, 13th Romain Grosjean, and then we don't talk about Devlin DeFrancesco.
We
He,
leave
he
that
kind of
Grosjean
we
disappointed.
made
10th.
we Alejandro, we made a pact way back in the end of 2022 that
Mm-hmm.
we just don't mention Devlin DeFrancesco because the guy's already the guy's already in so much pain. There's no need to pile on
There's
any
no
more.
need. He's getting outperformed by Canapino. It's not. I feel like it's time to pull the plug.
Oh, good lord! I did not even say that.
It's time to pull the
I
plug.
just saw that.
DeFranch, he brings good sponsorship, but I think it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it at this
You
point.
did UK. If I go a little off topic, this is still on Andretti, but I think I saw today they got they're gonna get an F1 license soon to open a team up in F1. Andretti is.
Oh, that's great.
They
That's
That's
great.
great, but I know the other F1 teams are trying their hardest to prevent that.
I think it's good for the sport for them to have a new team join. I know the paddock thinks what they want, but I think it's a good thing for the sport, personally.
I think it's fine. It's just the other teams don't want it because they don't want to end up dividing that. They don't want another team to split the money with.
That's true.
That's the main thing.
But didn't 5 teams break the cost cap or something this past
They
season?
said 3.
3?
I think they said 3 this year, and I don't know which 3 they are, but they said 3 broke the cost cap. Last year, I'm pretty sure it was like 6. A bunch of them did it last year.
What do you call it? Yeah, what do you call it? I noticed the trend here looking at some Andretti stats for the IndyCar season this year. And I'll tell you what, they are so fast on road course and street courses. They just can't put it together. You know how many pole positions they have this year?
How many?
They have 5.
5 and what? 5?
They have 5 pole
That's
positions.
ridiculous. I
All
know.
on street courses. All on street course and road courses.
Kirkwood won Long Beach. That's their only win of the season.
Yeah, so they only have one win, 5 pole positions.
What's
2
that, like
by
two
Herta, 2
podiums?
by Grosjean, 1 by Kirkwood.
What's that, 2 podiums? 3 podiums?
Let me
Something like that.
1, 2, 2 podiums, 1 podium, 4. Only 4 podiums if you include 5.
Andretti needs to get, and if they want to go to F1, they gotta have to sort themselves out on the IndyCar side because
Yeah,
that's their most
because
important team.
this is atrocious right now. Seeing this, and it's really upsetting.
It's also looking like Andretti's trying to dip their feet into the NASCAR pool with the heavy sponsorship of Spire.
Exactly. I was about to mention that. It seems like they're trying to dip their feet into every possible motorsport right now. The big ones, per se. I would say, they have a probably better shot at NASCAR because I'd say it's a more open community. I don't know how to say that, but I would say it's probably they have a better shot with Spire since there's already a team somewhat built up if they want to join compared to starting from the ground up in F1. So they have a better shot at NASCAR.
If they take over Spire, they're taking over
Cory
a
did.
team that's already there. They don't have to do a lot of building from the ground up. Like if they want to
I'd
make a
say
new shot, but like
Yeah,
Spire's on the
and
rise a little bit.
it's kind of funny because a lot of these IndyCar teams, they really specialize in doing like multi different racing leagues, or they do a lot of series, different series. Chip Ganassi, of course, he has his entire empire. He's got all of his endurance racing stuff like that. Remember, he used to own a NASCAR team. That closed down. Team Penske runs in pretty much everything you can think of, right? Arrow
same with Myers
McLaren.
Shank, they got the Inter program with the what is it, the DDP?
The GTP class.
GTP.
Arrow McLaren running with both IndyCar, F1, Rahal
Formula
Letterman
E.
Lanigan as
Formula E.
well, running
Yeah.
the BMWs. Remember in IMSA, they're running the BMWs. A lot of these top teams besides Andretti right now are running different series, and they're all
Still
relatively
competitive.
competitive. Rahal Letterman Lanigan just got their shit together, and now they're looking like contenders. At least on the road courses, they are looking like contenders right
I'd
now.
say they went from 0 to hero from the Indy 500 to now actually winning. I'd say it's a big swing for that team.
Most definitely. Like you go from filling up just about the entire back row of the Indy 500 to getting a win. I feel like
You know what it
something to
is,
be happy
James? You
about.
know why they're so fast on the road courses now? I think Christian Lundgaard is probably the third fastest driver on pure pace. You take a lap average on pure pace. I'd say Christian Lundgaard is the third fastest driver on road courses right now,
Who are your
behind
top two?
Alex
Look,
Palou and Colton Herta. Christian
I
Lundgaard
don't.
is
Uh,
number 3.
I would say, well, we can't talk about Palou. We got to talk about second and down. Palou is basically the Verstappen of IndyCar, in my opinion. Just looking at how that lead and then how consistent he is, even with, per se, drama with the damaged front wing. I think he would be probably. I don't think there's any way he could blow this at this point. Same thing with
yeah, there's
Verstappen.
no way he could blow it.
How many races are left in this season?
Only a
IndyCar,
handful. There's only
we have the doubleheader. I'm pretty sure.
7, I believe.
Nashville,
3, 4,
Gateway, and I
5,
think
6, 7. We have 7 races left.
Yeah.
yeah.
Season finale at Laguna Seca where he dominated last year. So, no,
I
he's
would
got
say
he's
it's.
got a couple of good tracks up ahead. He's just got to get through the ovals, and he's pretty much home free.
I'd say.
If there was any place for him to lose it, it'd be this weekend.
Yeah,
This weekend
2
is where
bad
he can blow
races in
it.
a row this weekend. It could bring it all back.
I'd say I remember. I think it was last season or 2 seasons ago when Newgarden crashed here. How that's completely flipped the standings.
It definitely did because Joseph Newgarden had 5 wins. It was last season actually. He had 5 wins. He had won the first Iowa race, and then he was leading the second one, dominating fashion. And then something happened, and he was leading the points by only like 20 points, and then that completely flipped it. He ended up being second or third out of that, and then he'd been chasing Power the last couple of races, and it was really that race that I think his championship fell apart.
Exactly.
But
I'd
it's
say that's the biggest chance for him to blow it is there, but I don't think he will, in my opinion.
it's also quite crazy how we went from last year we had 6 guys in the title fight, and to now it's over practically halfway through the season.
Hey James,
Yes,
since we didn't have any truck races this weekend, hey, bring in your stocks for Mr. P7 in Toronto, Marcus
my
Armstrong.
my stocks. Marcus Armstrong. If y'all don't know about Marcus Armstrong, former Formula 2 driver, he got kicked to the curb, comes to IndyCar. He says, I'm not going to run the ovals, just going to run the road courses, and is finally starting to perform. He's shown glimpses, not a lot. He's shown glimpses. He cooked at Road America with a top 10, but now he's finally getting up in there, making passes. He's getting aggressive finally. That's the thing. When you get these Formula 2 guys, these Formula 1 guys, they don't get aggressive and how elbows out IndyCar really is. He's finally getting aggressive. He's getting the elbows. He's elbowing people back. He's finally getting there, and here we are. P7. I feel like we're still on the up and up from Marcus Armstrong. He's gonna get way better.
I really like those odds of him hopefully competing for a full-time campaign next year. That would be
He's
really
also
cool.
16th in points on top of not running the ovals. So that's
And
three races he missed.
yeah, he's ahead of Santino Ferrucci, David Malukas, Elio Castroneves, Devin DiFrancesco, Augustine Canapino, Jack Harvey, Benjamin Peterson. I discounted Connor Daly and Simon Pagino because they did miss races. Um, yeah, but he is ahead of Santino Ferrucci, who got a podium in the Indy
Not the
500.
Daytona 500, Kyle.
The Indy 500. Oh, I forgot they don't give double points anymore. Um,
Double
but
points would be so good, especially right now is the time we needed it the most.
the one time we needed it last year, we didn't need
I'd
it. This year, we do need it.
say Iowa is basically considered double points because I know it's two separate races, but it's one weekend where you can double your points and get real back in the title fight if any other
Yeah.
weekend.
Anyway, James, let's move on to a Monday race that should have, just stayed on Sunday because, whenever you run a Monday race, it's a Martin Monday.
Martin Truex Jr. We could really just stop talking about it now. Martin Truex Jr. He literally swept the entire race. There was nowhere to run from Martin Truex Jr. He won the race in dominating fashion.
How many times are we
Like
gonna hear? Oh, Martin Truex Jr. is looking to retire. How many times are we gonna hear that before he just starts dominating races again and says, "I don't think so."
it's a cycle. Martin, he goes off. He has a dominant year. He does great, and then he slows all the way down. He doesn't win any races. Just an absolutely terrible year. He says, "I'm not enjoying the sport anymore, and I might be done." And then the people at Joe Gibbs convince him to come back for another year, just one more year. He comes back for that one more year, and they give him a good car, and he balls out.
Yeah, I'd say that right now, Martin Truex Jr. is the best. He's the best Joe Gibbs driver at this point right now.
I
In
would say
terms
I
of
would argue Christopher Bell is, but just how Christopher Bell's pace has been is not comparable to Truex. I would say
Truex
probably
also has all the momentum too.
he
exactly. I mean, like
has
I
a
don't.
lot
I
of his
think he kind
wins.
of wants to do what Carl Edwards wanted to do, which was win a championship and go out on a bang. I think. I think if he makes it, I think if he makes the championship four, he's gonna retire. But if he doesn't, I don't know. It's just like the way he's been putting it is like he's like preparing for it, but he doesn't want to do it yet. Is what it seems like. I don't. He's. I think he'll finish out the season and then he'll figure it out. But I think Joe Gibbs wants an answer beforehand, before the end of
Yeah.
the season.
I
I think they're
don't.
pressuring him a little bit.
just a bit. But I feel like I don't know who I think is gonna go up and replace him because
Nemechek, I would say.
I don't know. Nemechek's first entry in the cup was he went down and he reinvented himself with Toyota, but I don't know. He probably is ready. 4 wins in Xfinity is nothing to gloss over, but I don't know.
If it wasn't Nemechek, who would you think it would be? Corey Heim? I mean, like, he's not ready. You know, like,
Yeah, you're
there's
probably right. Or they could. Nah, they wouldn't do that.
Smith.
Anyone
He's
else,
not ready.
they could throw Ryan Trucks. They could throw Ryan Trucks the bone.
Hey
I
guys,
would.
all I'm gonna say is that we should be. I mean, I don't know if we're lucky or we're cursed here, but if we didn't get a Martin Truex Jr. win, it would have been a Joey Logano win. That's all I'm saying.
I'd much rather Martin Truex Jr. win.
Yeah, that's what is this? Four Toyotas in the top 10. That's pretty nice. Two of them being
Say
23XI.
I would say we talk about SHR real quick since you said Ford. I want to talk about SHR real quick.
Okay.
It was they're on a down year. They've been on a down year for a little while. I feel like ever since
Down
even
years,
in
man. Down
I would say
years.
ever since Harvick, even of like what was it, their 9, 10 wins in 2020.
But that was just Harvick.
That was just Harvick. I mean, like they've been on a down year for a while with overall all their drivers. I would say their best year is probably 2018 in my opinion. But since then, they've been on a down year, and then Harvick has his good years. But even with Harvick's winning, his average finish has gone down big time in the past few years. I
I
would
mean, I
say
think he's just getting up there in age. I can't. He's
I
just
think
getting
that's why he's
older, man. I
retiring.
can't even.
I think it's
He
a good
can't
move for
carry
him to
this team
retire.
anymore, and I feel bad for Josh Berry because
He's gonna be the
he
leader of this team. He just
at
coming
this
in.
point him because Priest has not been performing well at all. Briscoe's been doing just about as well as he can be.
I would
What
say
he's like
Briscoe would
18th
be
in
decent.
points.
He would be 18th, but with the penalty, he's in like 32nd or something like that.
Yeah,
And then Almirola has just been unlucky. I think he could have won the last two races easily. Could have won not Martinsville. He could have won. I mean, he could have won Martinsville back then. The Fords have been fast at all these short tracks, but he could have won Atlanta. He could have won New Hampshire, but I don't remember what happened to but Atlanta. But New Hampshire, that was a team error. Driver was performing well, and the team screwed him. So I don't know if he'll stay either till the end of the season. He's been contemplating retirement for a while.
I feel like he probably should have retired the first time he said he was going to retire instead of taking this 2 year contract from Stuart Haas.
I don't think will he have one more year after this year?
Yeah,
I think he'll back out. In my opinion.
Hey
If
James,
he
I'm looking at this finishing order. You know what this means? Ninth
what?
place. We're renewing for another season of Austin Dillon, Life in the Fast Lane. We just got 2 more
Ninth,
episodes of
there we go.
content.
That's a whole season right there. Ninth place, that's a whole season.
Ninth place, baby. Renew the contract.
Is how many top tens does he have on merit?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5 top 10s on the season.
That's
He
that's
hasn't
not
gotten. He hasn't even finished inside the top 10 since the 600. The 600 was the last time he finished in the top 10, which is
that's not
Yep.
insane.
good.
Well, what happened at Gateway? He finished 31st, and then street race was bad, I guess.
He was
But
he kind
he
of
wasn't really up there during the street race. I don't.
I
got
know
pulled
No,
into
he
Instagram.
was up there. He
no,
choke
but
jobbed it
via
there.
pit strategy, I'm not gonna count that. He was there
Yeah,
via pit strategy. Like
that
Haley was there.
race was a mess. My opinion, I think it should come back, but it was a mess for the first year.
I
If
loved the
anything,
street race. I feel like
I
it
love it
All-time
too.
was
great race.
it was the rain kind of messed everything up. If we would have got it on like the it was dry the whole time, I feel like it would have been much better. Like the product would have been much better. It would have been a lot less chaos, I'll tell you that much. But I feel like it was still great racing. I feel like it makes more sense for us to bring it back fix some of the kinks, make the track a tad bit wider so we don't have parking lots. But I feel like the Chicago Street Race was well done. It also served the purpose because they got the analytics. They said it was the most watched NASCAR race since 2018.
17
So
actually. It was
2017.
in Brickyard. 2017 was the biggest last time they
And
had
so
that
like
big of viewership. I think it brings good publicity. Like I follow F1 probably as much as I probably can as NASCAR, but that was probably the most I ever seen those two put in the same sentence. But
yes.
like the thing is, like, I'm gonna go off a little tangent. It'll take like a second. When people talk about Drive to Survive fans, I've been a fan. I found it on YouTube and then I found Drive to Survive, but I've been a fan for before Drive to Survive, in my opinion. And when they say we're Drive to Survive fans, but then they come talking about our sport, they have no idea to talk about. They can't be talking. That's my opinion. Both sports are great sports, and both sports, in my opinion, I equally like. They're
I
both amazing,
enjoy
but
both. Like
you gotta
I
the fan bases need to work together
the
to get
fan
something
bases
out.
both need work, but I enjoy both. I'll get up early in the morning and watch F1 and stay up and watch NASCAR. I do it just about every
Yeah,
weekend.
that's
Exactly. Yeah.
actually what we here at the Driving in Circles podcast pride ourselves on, because we're not all all of us are not part of like some radical fan base, that's got skewed views. So like a Chase Elliott fan or something like that. We respect all motorsports and we all view them, in different views, but respectfully. We all have our takes, but we respect the product for what it is. None of us really complain about it. We kind of just joke around and mess around, but the product itself is only what it's going to become, right? You can't manipulate. You can't. I don't really like those people that are too far on one side, too far on the other. Just neutral, and look at it as you're having fun. You got to look at it as you're having fun. It's not that
You
serious. You're
you
not
can
the one
definitely
driving.
manipulate races, Kyle. I know a thing or two about manipulating races, Kyle. You
They've
don't say
manipulated the
you can't
races, man.
manipulate a race. I've seen it happen twice.
They've manipulated the races, man.
It is being manipulated, man. You know.
James loves giving his best Lewis Hamilton impression.
I've seen some things, Kyle, talking about so you can't manipulate. I've seen some races get
I've
manipulated.
seen some things. I've seen some things, man. Hey, I'll tell
But
you what.
back to the topic at hand. I like our podcast because we can go out and talk about any motorsport and we can all just give our opinions without any problems.
We are variety. Certain other podcasts we don't talk about. What was that?
I was gonna say,
Uh
do we talk about SRX here? Because I do want to give a shout out to Denny Hamlin. Uh, last Thursday.
Oh, come on. He won a race that was 20 laps short because lightning was 2 inches from the track.
I mean, like, if it was a different driver, how would you feel about it?
we can
They.
you
It
know who
was
we
a good
can give a
race. It
shout
was
out
a good
to.
race.
You know who
Newman
we
would have
can
got
give a shout out to? Ryan Newman, who won the race today. Well, as of recording, who won the race at
Can I talk
Stratford
about
and finished all the laps.
there was I feel bad, so bad for Tony Kanaan. That was a huge hit. I was yelling at my TV. That was so unexpected. The brake failures were wild. I've never seen an SRX race with that many brake failures and that many issues. I mean, it was
I
entertaining as heck, but like that hit for Tony Kanaan was big.
it was it. I SRX is good with fixing their problems. I know they try and pride themselves on not having problems like that, but I feel like they're gonna get it done. I We saw it happen once last week. In the rain shortened week, Brad Keselowski when he went in and just absolutely took out who did he take out? He wiped out I think Deegan and I think Newman when he went in there. But this was a lot. And I feel like SRX is probably gonna be better. They're gonna fix all the problems, especially with all the cars being prepared by the exact same people. I feel like of course they're all gonna have the exact same problems since they're all prepared the same. So I feel like if one gets fixed, they're all gonna get fixed,
I
which is
agree.
which is good for the sport.
Yeah, it's good for that. They're still working out the kinks on their stuff on their series, and at least they got that big TV deal, so they're bringing in viewership, and it's really good to see that.
I
Um,
also love. I think it's SRX is absolutely amazing. I think
I
the
love
move
it.
to Thursday night was like brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. The move to Thursday night
I
because
think
now you can
I think
you can
what
get
it
more cup guys.
is
But
it's like the Cars Tour, right? It's got that short track
mm,
feeling, but you put the biggest names in there, and that's why it's so successful, right? Because everybody knows those names,
and then
but you
Haley
got
Deegan.
that, and then Haley Deegan, of course.
Haley Deegan. I would say I don't understand her point of her career right now. I mean, like I know she went to Thor Sport to have a better season, but she's being outperformed by her own teammates every weekend, and I feel like she needs to drive more aggressive because I feel like every week she's getting punted or she's making a mistake that's ruining her whole race.
I feel
Yeah,
She's
like
very
no, I
inconsistent.
she's
as
allowing herself
a
to get bullied. That's the thing.
as a
Like when
mild
you
Haley Deegan supporter, not towards the
mild is
crazy.
not the word to describe it.
As a mild, casual Haley Deegan fan, I just watched the truck races, and she puts herself in positions where she has a very high chance of being wrecked. She like the percentage is like 60% not her fault, 40% her fault on a lot of these wrecks. She'll be running top 15, but in the truck series, if you're running 15th to 20, like fourth, you are in the danger zone. You are in trouble. You are in pack racing. You are pack racing 18-year-olds who just got behind the wheel today. And
Exactly. I would say she had a rough start to the season for the first two races. Then she was on a streak of top 20 finishes for even North Wilkesboro. Where she started 10th and finished 20th. She had a few incidents there, but somehow managed to get top 20 out of it. But then since North Wilkesboro, her best finish is 26. It's like four straight 26 the worst
I
finishes.
also have to. I think I should. I think we should say that the Cup, not the Truck Series, only having 10 cars make the playoffs kind of skews everything.
I
So
mean, like
like
she's
Haley
18th in
Deegan
points.
is in 19th.
19th
She's
now?
in 19th. She's 19th in points. She's what 100. So she's a winning it. She's 154 points out from Matt Crafton. But I feel
I just
like
want
if
to
it
say,
was to
James.
12 or to 14th, it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, the
She
only
was
unfortunate thing
14th at one
is
point.
that there's only one truck race left in the regular season.
Oh my god, I forgot how stupid the Truck
Two.
Series schedule
There's
is.
two. There's two races left in the season,
Pocono,
and
yeah, Pocono and Richmond. I
I'm gonna be
forgot.
fair. I'm a Haley Deegan fan, but she ain't winning the next two races.
She's not winning anything, but the fact is how stupid that
Get
that
get her a one off at
this
least in the Xfinity series.
the point is how stupid the truck series schedule is, and why there's only two races in the next month
What
and a
the?
half.
No, I'm looking at the round of 10. So the round of 10 for the Truck Series starts August 11th, but it ends September 9th. It's like a month to do one round.
Yeah,
The
so
Truck Series schedule makes absolutely no sense.
yeah, they need to figure that shit
Because
out
we go
because
IRP and then we take 2 weeks off and then we go to Milwaukee and then next week we go to Kansas and then the cutoff race is at Kansas. Doesn't make any sense. Why is the cutoff race at Kansas?
They did that last year. I'm like, I feel like they should just like figure out their schedule to where it's
On
Bristol.
top of
Bristol should be a cutoff
something that
race.
really makes me upset. Last year, I remember it was me, Kyle, and Cory. We were all, talking, having a good time watching the Homestead race, thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna be close going into Martinsville." They got rid of Fall Martinsville for the trucks.
Yep.
yeah, you don't understand, Alejandro, how bamboozled we were when after that Homestead race, we were like, okay, this is looking pretty good into Martinsville, and the next
And
thing you
then
know,
across the bottom, it just says Final Four, Final Four, and I'm like, wait a minute.
what the fuck?
No, I was in Martinsville for that 21. I think it was 21 race. But that whole weekend in 2021 for Martinsville was unbelievable. I
Amazing.
understand how they want more action with the cutoff races, and I agree. I don't think it should be super speedways every time, but I think road course or a short track like Bristol, what is it, Martinsville, should
Martinsville is
definitely.
absolutely perfect as a cutoff race. I mean, absolutely perfect.
I mean, the
Even
Cup Series past few seasons has been rough for Martinsville, but other than, I would say the only reason, other than last year's cutoff race, was Ross Chastain. But other than that, it wasn't that good, in my opinion.
I
It was
mean,
all right.
it
It was
was
all
good
right.
racing. I enjoyed it. It was tense because
Yeah.
even before the Hail Melon, you were still watching the TV because Danny was only 1 point to the good over Ross before he threw it
And
off
then
on the
Yeah.
not
wall.
not to
True. True.
mention not to mention Chase Briscoe was only like 3 points out of making the final four
Three
last year.
spots. He was
3
only three
So
spots.
spots. If he would have blocked, I feel like if he would have he was on old tires though then. But if he would have blocked good enough, he could have gotten it.
that
Yeah,
was actually
that's
a pretty
true.
good race.
That's one
I,
thing I that's one thing I that's one thing I love. I want more of NASCAR. I want more of the entertainment factor. A lot of guys on the podcast will tell me I'm stupid, but I love the show. That's what I like. I love like how they build it up. You know what I mean?
I would
I
say
want
last week, if Atlanta went to the end, I know it was more action from rain, but I would say that was a perfect NASCAR race in my opinion. There was
absolutely if it
the crashes. They didn't. It was action packed. Even when they crashed, it wasn't that bad to where it was. Some people we didn't see people junking their cars every corner. There was aggressive racing. They were making the right moves. I mean, that was probably the best super speeder race I've seen this season, in my opinion, at least.
yeah.
You're definitely not wrong. The quality of racing at Atlanta, it's so unique because it still
Only
does
three
require
guys DNF'd that
yeah,
race.
it requires skill, and it was
Ooh,
such a long race. It was a 500 miler at Atlanta that a lot of guys had to keep their
and it was a
cars
400.
together.
400,
It
I'd
was
say
a
it's
400.
400.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we didn't
400.
even do
Okay,
the
well,
400 because
We did
it
185.
was rain. But even at the first Atlanta race, when Joey won, that was still a great race.
Oh, yeah,
Watched it
yeah, I
from
agree.
start to finish. It was still a great race. They really, I know a lot of people are gonna be upset because like old Atlanta was amazing. We got good hard racing, but this repave has just done numbers for Atlanta, and I love it a lot. It didn't
We
start
only
off that
did
way, but
277. We only did 277 of the 400.
277.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm thinking about it. I don't know. The only
You,
problem I have with Atlanta is that it doesn't work with the Xfinity cars. I don't know why, but it just doesn't work with the Xfinity cars. The trucks are bricks so that they're not very aerodynamically dependent, so they can stay pack racing for a while. But it's just like with the Xfinity cars, they snake out. They can't stay in packs. It kind of just messes up the flow of the racing. I don't know. It's just not good for the Xfinity side.
yeah, I mean, like, there's certain tracks that work for different series for NASCAR. The road course racing for Xfinity is pretty freaking good in my opinion for certain tracks, but other tracks it's rough. It's just like they need. I know it's hard for them to make a perfect schedule in hindsight, but I think they should try to have. I would say for Cup Series have maybe 8 road courses a season, 6 regular season, maybe 2 playoff road courses. I don't know. I would say that would be interesting. Do
It's
one
also
international
so
race.
hard to make the schedules for all three series because this is one
You want to
thing
match them up.
I used to be naive and I used to be like, why can't they just go to different? But now when I'm older, I realize we can't have them we can't have all the series go to different places because all the pit crews. We don't have enough pit crews to just send the Cup Series to Phoenix and send the trucks to Milwaukee and send them all over the place. We gotta keep it somewhat uniform,
Exactly.
and that is kind of what it's tough to make a perfect schedule, and NASCAR does try their best, and they've done pretty well.
I would say I think next year's actually gonna be a pretty good schedule because normally when NASCAR takes their time figuring out a schedule, like I don't think they'll release a schedule for next year until probably late August, early September. I think that will be a good schedule because if they release it early, it's normally they're just copy and pasting. But if it's a newer schedule per se, with the new tracks, switched out locations, it's gonna be good, I think.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it to a close here. Make sure to comment down below what tracks you guys want to see on the NASCAR schedule, any series in 2024. That'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, Alejandro, for being here.
Thank you guys. It was an honor.
Yeah, make sure
It was
to
awesome.
follow the Instagram, subscribe, have post notifications on so you're notified every time that we upload. James, hit that outro music.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss, take off the weird-ass jewelry, I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricated streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the Sandro Pay 5.